We're just waiting for a few more participants to join and then we'll get started. Okay, we seem to have stabilized on the number of participants. Good afternoon or morning, depending where you are. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the open house for the Penn State College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. I'm Yvette Richardson. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education for the college. I'm also a professor in the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science. I'm joined today by Stacy Davidson, an advisor in our college, who will be monitoring the question and answer, and Karen Marassi, our Director of Student Engagement. Karen and I will give you an overview of the college, and then we'll be joined by a panel of our amazing EMS ambassador students. And I know that you're going to love hearing from them and learning about all their many different and varied experiences. Before we go any farther, I need to let you know that we will be recording this session. So first of all, we're just really glad that you found us. Earth and Mineral Sciences is a small and unique college. We blend together science disciplines, those that really expand our fundamental knowledge of how things work and the way that the universe operates, and engineering disciplines that then take that knowledge and really apply it to practical problems, often that are of real relevance to society. So we really believe that being able to expose you to this mix of engineering and science is really one of our key strengths. And it helps us be able to teach you how to tackle important problems that have to do with things like predicting changes to the Earth's system, understanding the Earth's resources, and how we can best use them in a safe and responsible manner, and knowing how to find and assess spatial patterns on the Earth and determine their relevance to both physical and social problems. Our college was formed in 1896. So if you do the math, we are coming up on our 125th anniversary, which we will be celebrating throughout next year. That is the same year that the obelisk shown here was built, and it's a symbol of our college on the Penn State campus. It's also a long-running experiment on the durability and characteristics of building stone. And at that time, we were a school of mines, so this was a very relevant experiment. In time, we've expanded into material science and engineering, geosciences, petroleum and natural gas engineering, geography, meteorology, environmental systems engineering, energy business and finance, geobiology, energy engineering, energy and sustainability policy, earth science and policy. And you'll hear more about each of these in just a minute. This mix of science and engineering majors results really in exactly the type of college that you might design from scratch if you thought about how to have an impact on some of the biggest problems facing society today. So our goal really is to help you become the next generation of leaders who can contribute to the world. Looking at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals shown here, our disciplines map directly onto many of them. We think about affordable and clean energy, climate action, life on land, industry, innovation and infrastructure, clean water and sanitation, responsible consumption and production, and peace and justice, to name just a few. So we believe that you will have the greatest impact if you have strong disciplinary knowledge, the ability to take that knowledge and put it into action on real problems, and a strong sense of how to contribute as a global citizen. With this mix, you will have an impact on the world, and you will also be very valuable to your employer. Strong disciplinary knowledge comes from your major. So I'd like to say a little more about our majors, organized by department. The first is our John and Willie Leone family Department of Energy and Mineral Engineering. This is the home to 4 of our 5 engineering programs. 2 of them, mining and petroleum and natural gas engineering, involve the responsible extraction of resources to meet societal needs. Mining, which many people tend to associate with coal, also includes things like gemstones and important rare earth metals that are used in modern technology. Energy engineering is focused on solving problems in the production, as well as processing, storage, distribution, and utilization of energy. And this includes natural resources such as oil and gas, but also renewable or sustainable forms of energy, including biofuels, hydropower, wind, and solar. Environmental systems engineering is really about protecting the health of both workers and the environment by applying systems engineering principles to environmental issues related to industrial activities and to the extraction of energy and mineral resources. The 5th major in this department, Energy Business and Finance, is a little bit different than the others. It's a really unique degree that prepares students to work in private companies by giving them a strong background in both energy principles and finance. So as an EBF student, you'll understand kind of both sides of the house in these private companies. Our 5th engineering degree in the college is Material Science and Engineering in the department of the same name. This is one degree with several possible specializations depending on the type of material or its intended application. So you can see that there are several different materials listed there, but also things like nanotechnology and biomedical. So an example of a special material are biomaterials. These are substances engineered to interact with biological systems for a medical purpose. So as you can imagine, these materials need really special properties in order to do no harm within a body and also give the desired result. So as a materials engineer, you might develop a new material that ends up opening up a whole new industry. Just consider how short-lived the smartphone industry would have been if materials scientists hadn't developed glass strong enough that a phone could survive being dropped on the floor, at least if you're anything like me. Recognizing the importance of material science, Penn State has invested millions of dollars in the last decade on material science facilities, including the Millennium Science Complex shown here and the Style Building. Both of these have fantastic labs where you as an undergraduate can do research. So here's a fun fact. The hole in the top of the Millennium Science Complex shown here, in addition to being just a really cool architectural feature, actually protects the sensitive underground scanning electron microscope from building vibrations. It is located underneath the garden that you see in the picture. So moving on to our science programs now, we have an excellent department of meteorology and atmospheric science, which offers a degree by the same name with multiple possible options within it. So when most people think of meteorology, they think of television. And we do have a really excellent weather forecasting and communications option that prepares students for this career path. We have our own studio and we produce our own nightly show, Weather World. Many graduates have gone on to successful careers in television. However, if television is not your thing, like me, I'm a meteorologist, but I'm not on TV. But instead, you would love to deeply understand how the atmosphere works. For example, how do we predict the intensification of this hurricane shown in the picture? Then the atmospheric science option is probably for you. This option is perfect if you want to go to graduate school and do research. The environmental option establishes links between atmospheric physics and a variety of environmental disciplines pertaining to land, water, soil, and plants. So depending on your interests, you can select courses in air quality and dispersion, like shown here, ecology, environmental chemistry, geographic information systems, or hydrology. And finally, in the same department, we have the weather risk management option. This is a similar idea to the energy business and finance major, except here you're combining knowledge of weather with knowledge of finance and economic risk. So this option is perfect if you want to join private sector companies and help them manage the risk that they have that's related to weather. For example, some of our graduates now work for companies such as Mars, the candy company, or for energy commodity trading firms. Moving on to another science department, our Department of Geosciences houses several different science programs. The Bachelor's in Geosciences is concerned with understanding Earth processes and the evolutionary history of Earth. So if you are interested in earthquakes or volcanoes, this is a great place for you. But you can also work to discover and develop natural resources such as groundwater, metals, and energy sources. This happens to be a photo of a student studying melt within glaciers for her research, crawling through tiny spaces. Geobiology is one of our smaller majors, but it's really interesting. It really embraces the history of life and its interactions with the Earth over geologic time. It also includes a study of interactions between living organisms and physical and chemical processes in the modern environment on Earth, and possibly even elsewhere in the universe. In fact, one of our geosciences professors is a leading expert on the possibility of life on other planets. The Earth Sciences major, still within the Department of Geosciences, involves the study of interactions between the solid Earth, the oceans, and other bodies of water, the atmosphere, and the biosphere. So it is an interdisciplinary degree that involves a mixture of geosciences, geography, meteorology, and other natural sciences. Earth scientists seek to solve the big picture problems in the world and answer outstanding questions about the universe. They are employed in government, industry, and consulting. If you would like to take that type of knowledge and put it into action on problems such as how to prepare for climate change and how to solve issues affecting communities, such as maintain sources of clean water and reliable energy, then you might like the Earth Science and Policy major, which combines knowledge of the scientific and social dimensions of environmental problems. Our Penn State Law School recently created a program that effectively eliminates 1 year from a combined undergraduate law degree. So this would be a great option for students in this major, but many of our other majors as well. Our final science department is geography, which has a major by the same name. The geography major has a broad range of applications. On the physical geography side, you might assess impacts of rising sea levels, melting glaciers, and tropical storms. Or you could study the impacts of wildfires or manage wetlands. Geographers often use geographic information science, which is also a popular minor for our other majors. And they use this to visually represent and analyze spatial data in order to understand and address real-world problems for both the environment and society. Industry needs geographers to analyze new markets and locations for businesses too. On the human geography side, you might use cutting-edge satellite data to, for example, defend human rights. Geographers also work directly on social justice issues such as health and migration. This photo is from a course called Parks and People, in which students go to South Africa to study the impacts of parks on the local culture. So, although the disciplinary knowledge gained in your major is extremely important, being a future leader also involves developing skills and competencies that are hard to get in the classroom. These beyond the classroom experiences are part of student engagement, and it is strongly valued in Earth and Mineral Sciences, so much so that we recently hired a full-time director of student engagement to help students develop plans for and find these beyond the classroom experiences during their time at Penn State. I'm happy to let Dr. Karen Marassi, our Director of Student Engagement, tell you about all of the great engagement activities in EMS.
Everybody, let me pull up my screen share here. All right. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time zone you're in. I am Karen Marassi. I'm the Director of Student Engagement here in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. That is a bit of an odd title, but I guess I could tell you I help you find opportunities both outside of the classroom that both enhance your major and enhance your time at Penn State. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for your interest in Penn State, and hopefully I can give you some ideas about what your Penn State experience might look like. And if you have any questions after today's presentation, don't hesitate to contact me. So Dean Richardson said that engagement was very highly valued here in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences, and she's absolutely right. We value this experience so much so that we actually have a formal program in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences called MSAGE. And MSAGE stands for EMS, Academy of Global and Experiential Learning. And so what we want to do here in this program is support you as a student in these three main areas: this disciplinary knowledge through your major, so obviously helping you be a strong student, and then the ability to apply this knowledge through experiences such as research, internships, leadership, service, ways of giving back that help bring your major to life. And MSAGE is a formal program that is unique to Penn State, only in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences, where one, we help mentor you through getting those experiences and gaining all of that richness to your undergraduate experience. And then we also have a process where we can recognize you as a student as you become a senior for your achievements and name you a laureate. And the laureates are seen as students who are not only just strong students, but then covering a wide range of experiences. And they're also seen as mentors and leaders in the college for other students. MSAGE has recently been developed to include other students. And so now MSAGE has become a mentoring community for students who not only want to excel in the classroom, but make the most out of their Penn State experience. So here are some of our laureates from last fall, and these are some of the most interesting and diverse students that you could imagine in the college in terms of their Penn State experiences. So the college puts a tremendous amount of effort in supporting students in being successful, both academic and personal success. And one way we do this is through the Ryan Family Student Center, which is also a very unique space to the college. You don't see many other colleges with this type of space. And what it is co-located student services. And so in this very welcoming and warm and comfortable center, you find academic advising, you find access to Associate Dean Richardson. She's right there with the students. You see her passing through. You can always chat her up for her advice and her experience. We have math and science support with peer tutors and a math instructor, and writing support with graduate writing support as well. And I'm there too. So we kind of cover the entire holistic student experience, and that we're there to help you not just excel academically, but excel personally and make the most out of your time here at Penn State. We also include space for our Earth and Mineral Sciences Student Council to help them also do the good work they do to help build community in the college. And we'll talk more about them in a little bit. We support engaged scholarship or different types of engagement experiences in many ways in the college. Here are some college-specific programs, again, unique to the college. One of these programs is called CAUSE, which is the Center for Advanced Undergraduate Studies and Experiences. This is a spring, summer, fall course, so it spans an entire calendar year, and where you will have a course with students and led by a faculty member. You will then do a travel experience with that faculty member and those students in the summer, and then a final course in the fall to synthesize and digest all of the knowledge and the experiences that you had. And so in this picture, our students have gone to Colorado, and they have spent a long trip studying applied sustainability in contemporary culture in many different ways. So these are study away, if you want to think about that they are also domestic, but they can also be international. The next time we will be able to have a CAUSE program, which we hope is soon. They're looking at going to Europe to study immigration and migration. And so that is also going to be a really unique and exciting trip. And so it changes every year, which is what's exciting about it. There's so many different opportunities students can have. The college also partners with the GREEN program. This is an external program, but the Earth and Mineral Sciences College are partners with them in providing experiences for students to travel to different parts of the world and take coursework on the different types of experiences that they're having. So right in this picture, the students are in Iceland, and they are looking at sustainable energy, but students can also, through the GREEN program, travel to Peru and have experiences there as well, looking at topics relevant to the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Another opportunity that our students have to travel abroad is embedded coursework. And so we often see students having the chance to travel with faculty in relation to a specific class. Sometimes these classes might travel over spring break for the week in the middle of the spring semester, or then you might travel in what we call the Maymester, which is the period of time immediately following the spring semester, but before you might want to start a study, an internship or some other summer experiences. And so this picture is actually a picture from Thailand, and one of our Geosciences faculty members runs a Maymester course to Thailand on natural disasters in developing countries. And so there are many different ways you can indeed get abroad experiences or international experiences in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences, whether it be through a formal study abroad semester away program or through these very detailed programs associated with the college. Another way to really bring your academics to life is to do research. And so one of the best things about Penn State is that it is a large research university with some amazing cutting edge discoveries going on all the time. But Earth and Mineral Sciences is a small college where you get to know your faculty and can develop these relationships. And so if you want to try out what it means to actually to do academic research, to discover new knowledge, you have that opportunity here in the college. And it's a great way, not even if you don't want to become an academic. Research is a wonderful way to realize that you can take what you've learned and explore it in new and novel situations and learn those skills that it would take to research a new topic, something that hasn't been discovered before or something that hasn't been done before. And so it is really a great opportunity that we encourage all students to do, whether or not you think graduate school is in your future or not, but researching with a faculty member, getting to know them deeply and having that experience is a fantastic way to bring your major to life. Another way to do that, obviously, I think many students are familiar with the idea of an internship. How can I get a professional experience around my major? And this graphic here is just an example of all of the different companies that just our material science and engineering majors intern with. And so these are all companies that are hiring and looking to give you that professional experience. And we have resources in the Ryan Family Student Center in me and helping you find those internship experiences, but also through our writing support, making sure you've got a good resume, you can write that good cover letter to help students really get those professional experiences. And these are critically important. You need to know if how the thing that you're learning, how it works in the world is going to be right for you. And so having these experiences along the way help you make decisions about what you're learning and what problems you want to solve in the future. We had a very articulate alumnus kind of sum up the idea of engagement really, really well last fall in a talk. And he said, you know, your technical knowledge is part of what pays your salary, but your success is from your engagement. And I would imagine you would need quite a bit of engagement to find the success as the very prestigious woman here in the graphic, in that this is the astronaut Xena Cardman, who was a Penn State PhD student before she was selected for the astronaut program in 2017. And you can imagine that, yes, being an astronaut needs tremendous technical experience, but you also really need to learn how to work on a team. You really need to know how to communicate. You really need to know how to solve a novel situation when something goes wrong. And so I guess hopefully I think her experiences might really sum this up really well, in that you can see how, yes, you really need to know a lot, you know, a PhD's worth of knowledge, but those other experiences make you capable of doing those amazing things. So we have many ways of supporting students in gaining those experiences. I mentioned a moment ago our writing support. So also in the Ryan Family Student Center, we do support you in being able to communicate your ideas, can communicate your science. So we have a writer in residence. So imagine a science college with a writer in residence. It's that important to us that you be able to share what you know with the world. And then supporting students with graduate writing support that you can walk in almost any evening of the week and get support with those projects. And then we want to celebrate you. So we have historically had a poster session in the college where you can display your work. And we have expanded that now, not just to be research posters, but also having students do lightning talks and digital stories. So other ways of communicating and also highlighting other experiences. So what else are students doing? Perhaps it's an amazing service project or a service learning project that we can share and have students explain those experiences to the college and celebrate all of that. So we call it now the Celebration of Undergraduate Engagement, or we fondly call it CUE. And if you like leadership and student organizations, you cannot find a finer organization than the Student Council in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Again, one more of those unique facets to this small and mighty college. It's not student government. It's not what you think. This is a group of students dedicated to building community in the college, bringing students together, oftentimes to do many fun things like hiking Mount Nittany, as you can see in this picture. So these are the students who are there to bring us together, to share their knowledge. I've never seen such passion for mentorship as I do in this college, how much the older students want to share what they know with the younger students. So Student Council does many social activities, and they also support our the Thon activity at Penn State, which is the Penn State's dance marathon for children with pediatric cancer, and it's a fundraiser. And we have a very passionate Thon organization here in the college to help support that initiative at Penn State and also to support Relay for Life. But there are many other ways that students get service experience in the college, which is also very, very meaningful. And I'll give you an example of, again, how that your major comes to life through service. So here's one student who is studying abroad, and she has her Thon t-shirt on with our 4 families that we support. And she's also having a fabulous experience. And we really like that photo in that it sums up. But another example is the American Society for solar energy, and they were working together as a group to build a solar garden installation in urban Philadelphia. So there are many ways to contribute to service activities in the college, whether they be for large, fundraisers like Thon and Relay for Life, or through smaller activities like the solar group, which really wanted to they actually designed a way to do a solar charging cell phone as a fundraiser. And so different ways to really bring those experiences to life that are fun with people with similar interests. So also supporting student council are the alumni of the college. And so we have a fantastic alumni group called GEMS. They truly are GEMS, which are graduates of Earth and Mineral Sciences. And they help to mentor students and do a lot of one-on-one mentoring. And so when you add them on top of the MStage laureates who we talked about earlier, again, and student council, that culture of supporting and mentoring students is so strong in the college. And there is always somebody there to help you over a hurdle, to give you some advice, or help maybe see things in a different way, which is often very, very helpful. So here's one more photo from Relay for Life. And a couple other organizations to highlight that are at the college level as well is Women in Earth and Mineral Sciences. We fondly call them WEMS. And another one is Minorities in Earth and Mineral Sciences. We fondly call them MEMS. And so these two groups, along with student council, are the ones that you see kind of like bringing the college together. The WEMS group will highlight some of the challenges for women in the sciences and provide a forum to talk about those challenges. And they're open to a group that's open to both men and women. And our MEMS group is also going to do that as well, to what are the ways that we can be a more inclusive community? And I have to say, it's been really impressive this summer and fall to see the student activity and the student drive for really how we can make the college more inclusive and really bring all of those thinkers to the table. And there's a lot of energy in our student body right now towards making sure that we are creating an atmosphere here in the college where everyone can thrive. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Dean Richardson. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any possible questions on engagement in Earth and Mineral Sciences at Penn State.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Morossi. Okay, so what are the next steps? Well, we would love to have you visit our EMS exposition, EMEX, this spring. The dates are March 26 to 27, and registration opens in early February. The format will likely depend on the state of the pandemic, like all things, but either way, you will be able to learn more about the college and see demonstrations within our departments. You'll also meet our graduates of EMS board, which Dr. Morossi mentioned. These are just wonderful alumni who provide input and great advice on all of our college initiatives. This summer, you'll participate in new student orientation, where you'll meet with advisors to develop your fall schedule. And it's likely to look something like this. In EMS, we teach our own versions of Calculus 1 and 2 using EMS examples to make it more relevant for you. If you have AP credit, advisors will help you decide which calculus course to take. EMSC 100S is our first year seminar, and each section has a different theme related to EMS, so you get to choose one of most interest to you. And they're really designed to help you start thinking like a scientist right from the start. Before classes even begin, we offer an orientation program that is unique to our college. It's called TEAMS, Total Engagement with Earth and Mineral Sciences. This year we did TEAMS virtually, but we're hopeful that we can be in person in 2021. This program normally starts with faculty and staff helping you move in early to the dorms on the Tuesday before classes. And we literally meet you at the curve and carry your stuff up to your room. Then we have lunch together, followed by students getting on a bus to go to Lake Raystown. And this is where you'll spend the rest of the week in cabins with other students, including upper-level mentors. Several faculty and staff, including me, are there as well. Teams is really about building community through just fun and interesting activities. One evening is devoted to dinner with the dean, shown here, and faculty, followed by kind of breaking out into departments that gather in large circles to share advice about starting college and answer any questions that you have. So the idea is that by the end of teams, you will know over 100 students, some of whom you are likely to be lifelong friends with, before you've even started your first fall class. So really from the beginning of your time with us, we truly are there to provide a community to support you and help you become everything that you want to be. So I hope that you've enjoyed hearing about the exciting things that are going on in EMS and all of the possible career paths that are open to you as an EMS student. Our website is shown there. There's a lot more information there that you can access anytime. We'll now be joined by our student panel and we'll have time for questions after that. So please enter those using the Q&A function. Any questions of general interest will probably be answered by the students, while more specific questions will be answered by Stacy directly replying to you with a text answer. Thank you so much for being here today. We're really glad to share our college with you. And now I'm delighted to turn it over to our students.
Thank you, Dean Richardson and Dr. Marassi. Salix, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Salix Iverson. I'm a senior in meteorology. I'm getting a minor in geography. Experience I've had outside of the classroom. I was a pathway student at the National Weather Service in Phoenix this summer, and I also interned at a TV station 2 summers ago. In terms of clubs I'm involved with, I'm the president of Campus Weather Service, a club in the Department of Meteorology, and I was a former treasurer for the student council for the college.
Megan, you want to go next?
Yep. So my name is Megan. I'm a senior in materials science and engineering. I'm also getting a minor in environmental inquiry. I have had an internship this past summer, and I've been doing undergraduate research for the past 2 years. Regarding clubs, I am the director of alumni relations for EMS Thon for the past 2 years and very involved in EMS JUCO. Yeah. Kelly, you want to go?
Yeah. Hi, so I'm Kelly Matazuski. I'm a junior in material science and engineering, and I'm minoring in biomedical engineering. And I've been involved in undergraduate research since my freshman year, and I've presented several posters, and I've had to give presentations to a graduate research group. And as for clubs, I'm the vice president of WEMS, which was described earlier. It's our club for women in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. And then outside of EMS, I'm the director of sustainable materials and products for the UPUA, which is our student body government for all of Penn State University Park.
Thank you so much. So for the audience, we're going to go ahead and open to Q&A. You can submit your questions through the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. And at 1 o'clock, we're going to head off on a live virtual tour of EMS facilities. So hopefully you'll stick around and join us for that. While we wait for questions to come in, do the ambassadors want to go ahead and say maybe why you chose your major or why you chose Penn State when you were searching for colleges?
I can start with that one. So like a lot of meteorologists or meteorology students, I knew I wanted to study the weather and study meteorology from a really young age. But I'm actually from Minnesota, so Penn State was kind of a far stretch from home for me. And I actually had just randomly driven through Pennsylvania on a trip back home from the East Coast in Boston, and we decided to stop at Penn State. I loved the scenery, I loved the campus, didn't know that they had meteorology, so the second I got home, I researched Penn State. to try to figure out if they did have meteorology, and of course they did, and they have a really good program. So from that point, the fact that I loved the campus and they had a really good program for me, it was kind of a really easy choice.
For me, my dad actually went to Penn State, but growing up as like a little Nittany lion, I did not want to go to Penn State until I did a tour, and they said that you can make any big school small, but you can't make a small school big. So that's what really sold me. And I actually found MATSE from going to Penn State because I had absolutely no idea what material science was before coming here. I started out a different major and switched, and it was definitely the best choice I've ever made. It's very fitting, and I'm happy with everything, and the advisors really helped me a lot with that.
So for me, I really wanted to major in biomedical engineering, and my brother actually was a student here. He was in meteorology, and he was telling me all about this great college in EMS and how it makes Penn State feel a little bit smaller, and that there'd be a great major for me here in material science and engineering. And I really liked that I would be able to have that small college feel while in EMS, which is why I decided on my major and Penn State in general.
I see a question about the National Weather Service. So there's a lot of different opportunities that you can get involved with the National Weather Service or the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA in general. So one way would be a student volunteer position. So we actually have a National Weather Service office here in State College that gives students an opportunity to volunteer with them. And they've done both a virtual format, which we had to do in this case scenario for this semester, and an in-person format. So that's one thing you can do while you're still a student at Penn State taking classes, and they also extend it throughout the summer as well. Another way is what I did, which is the Pathways internship. And so that's a paid position. You're a federal employee for 4 months while you're working there. And that's through the USA Jobs website, and you apply for that between your junior and senior year. And then if you're going to grad school, you can also apply for that between your senior year of undergrad and your first year of grad school as well. But you have to be a full-time student to apply for that. And obviously you look for that later on in your college career. And then last way that you can get involved, to my knowledge and what my friends and peers in the meteorology department have done, there's the Hauling Scholarship. So you apply to that around this time in the fall, or start applying, and the application is due in January. And that is a 2-year scholarship that you get paid during your junior and your senior year. And you get to work at any NOAA facility across the entire United States as a research project for the 3 months between the summer. And then they also will pay for you to present your research at different conferences as well throughout your senior year. So those are the 3 that I know for getting involved with the NWS and NOAA.
Well, while we're waiting for more questions to come in, would you guys mind talking about where you lived your first year at Penn State and what on-campus living might be like?
I can start this one. So I lived in West my freshman year just because, like I said, my dad went to Penn State, so I kind of knew the layout of it, and I wanted to be closer to Dyke and Seidel building. So I was down there, but I know a lot of people like living in East their freshman year just because you're with only freshmen. So it's a little bit more comfortable because everyone's going through the same thing. I did like living in West though. It was a little bit quieter, easier to study and stuff. But I currently have a younger brother who's living in North, so a little bit more related to like the COVID situation. He likes it. It's different, definitely different for him this year in regards to like what we went through. But yeah, North is also, all of the housings are really good, but yeah.
I can go. So my freshman year and my sophomore year, I actually lived in Irvin Hall, which is in West Halls. And Irvin Hall is our College of EMS special living option, which you can apply for when you're choosing your housing options. And in that dorm, it's all the College of EMS like students. So you get to meet a bunch of, like I met freshmen that are in EMS that are like my best friends today. And what's really nice is that we went to teams together. And like we go to the student council meetings, and it's really nice to like build a great community within the college and for friends that like will go forward forever. So I really enjoyed that.
I actually lived in East and West my freshman year. So I started out living in East because I thought that I wanted to be more surrounded by freshmen, but I didn't really mesh well with people on my floor, and that wasn't anything that they did or what I did. I just was spending a lot of time in Irvine studying with friends such as Meg. So we would kind of be there late at night, and for me, having to commute back from West all the way to East in the middle of the night after a long day of studying really just wasn't it for me. And so I decided to make the switch and move over to West. And I think both of them are fine. It really just depends on what your academic and your social life is like. For me, most of my social interactions happened in West because I was going to student council meetings, I was eating dinner over there, and then I was studying over there. And for me, it was just easier to kind of have everything in one location rather than doing one part of my day all the way across campus and then having to trek all the way back to the eastern side of campus.
There's a question for seniors or any of you in general. Do you know if you're planning to do grad school or employment after you're done?
So Penn State just had a career fair 2 weeks ago, I believe now, and it was online. So it was really nice to get to talk to different companies and stuff, but just with kind of the situation of having to apply online, everything's a little bit delayed. So I'm looking at getting a job right after, but also Penn State for MATC does an accelerated master's program. So it's a 1-year program for your spring, summer, and fall, and you get your master's in 1 year. So I'm also looking at that because it would be nice to stay here for 1 more year, especially with regards to what happened this year. So I'm definitely looking at probably my master's.
I'm going to kind of do both. So my plan right now is to get my master's in emergency management online through a school called Millersville University, which is here in Pennsylvania. And then I also hope to be applying for National Weather Service offices as well in the time being. However, with the National Weather Service, you can't apply until you have your degree. So I wouldn't be able to apply until July, which is when the first listing comes out. So my hope is I can keep myself busy by doing the grad school, and then whenever I do get an offer from the National Weather Service, I hope to be doing both of them at the same time.
So I'm still a junior, but I'm definitely been thinking that I want to go to graduate school and maybe get my PhD, and then I want to go into research and development in industry. That's kind of the plan that I have right now, but I definitely know that I could do like just go right into work after 4 years, but I'm leaning towards going to graduate school.
And for the students, there's another part of a question that says, what is the one thing you least expect while in college that you wish you would have known prior to starting college?
I think for me that it was okay to switch majors because like that transition for me was a little hard, just like mentally and everything. And because I know for me going to college, like, all right, I'm gonna be done in 4 years and like that's gonna be it. But it's okay if you take longer time or if you need to play catch up in the summer or anything. Everyone goes at their own pace, and going for more than 4 years isn't really a big deal.
From the same question, it was a 2-part. Any courses that you took in high school that you really thought helped prepare you with your college work?
I would definitely say if in high school if you're planning on going into more of a science field through the College of EMS, then definitely take as many math classes as you can in high school, as well as chemistry and physics. At my high school, it wasn't required to take physics. You could basically choose between chemistry or physics. I chose to take both, and that really helped me a lot in terms of understanding the material because I'd already seen it before, at least in maybe a watered down substance. So there's that. Also, statistics might be a good one to take too. It might not be as advertised throughout your college career, but I think almost every single major has to take statistics, so it kind of sneaks up on you. So I recommend taking that if you can look ahead and see if your major requires you to take that.
So Alex, there's a Meteo-specific question there about the introductory course. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, so the introductory course is really just your first taste of meteorology. And I see that the second part of the question asks is there's courses that you can tailor to your specific interest, and 100% you can do that. With the introductory course, it kind of covers almost every single topic that you could go on and talk about later on within your 400 level classes. So we talk about severe storms and severe weather and all of that, and you can take a class called mesoscale meteorology. You talk about climate change, and you can take geography classes about climate change. You have to take a climate dynamics class later on. So you kind of talk about, I guess, very broad topics, and then you can kind of take them, I guess, later on as a 400 level class. Additionally, you can also choose your option within the major. So for instance, I'm forecasting and communications. So I take a forecasting class as well as weather communications courses. But if you're the general option, you can pick and choose which classes you want to take. Or for instance, like the weather risk management, have to take more statistics classes and more classes related to weather risk. So that's another thing, kind of talking about classes that you might be interested in later on in your college career.
And Kelly or Meg, do you want to talk about introductory MATC courses?
Okay, so I'll go. So for my EMS, what's it called? The introductory, like the EMSC, the
EMSC 100S.
Yeah, okay. So for that one, I chose a materials option for it, which was taught by actually one of our head of the undergraduate department of material science, Dr. Kimmel. So it was great to be able to get that like small class with some like a professor that you really want to have like a good contact with, like going forward. It was really nice to have that contact so that I could like talk to him going forward or even ask for letters of recommendation. So that was really great. And then I didn't take my first real material science course until my sophomore year, which was just another broad introduction of all the different materials that you can go into. So you have a while to decide what material that you want to go into. Because a lot of people think like, oh, I don't know, like, do I want to do biomaterials, polymers, metals? Like you should learn as much as you can first and then start thinking about those specializations. So it was really helpful to me to know that going in as well.
Also, kind of playing off what Kelly talked about, I'm in my senior year, so for material science, you pick kind of what you want to do your senior year. You don't have to specify in a specific material either. So if you have interest in like metals and polymers, you could do classes in both and have a wider range of background within the two materials if you want. So that starts kind of like your later junior year, but so it's nice to talk to upper faculty and upperclassmen, like Kelly was saying, just kind of learn more about everything, because going in, you don't know specifically what you want to do, but also it's not important if you don't want to specify.
So it appears that it's 12:55, so good timing. Thank you everyone who has been presenting and on the panel today. So we're going to get started with the virtual tour in 5 minutes at 1 o'clock. So I know Zoom fatigue is a real thing. So if anybody attendee needs to go grab a drink or a cup of coffee, we will just be here to still answer questions and get started at 1 o'clock. So and if you can't join us at 1, thank you very much for coming, and we hope you learned a lot.